Meanwhile, do you remember the subway shooter?
Yes.
He was he went. His name was Frank James, and he was charged with opening fire inside of an N train on April 12th in Brooklyn, leaving dozens of people hurt. And now the helpers are seeking protection from the nation's immigration system. There's actually 4 people who helped to arrest the shooter. How it kind of went was that these 4 different individuals, they were all immigrants and 3 of them undocumented, helped actually capture this man.
Wow.
An undocumented Mexican woman who had been on the train gave police her cell phone to retrieve videos of the chaos, which then was able to get a picture of him.
Oh, wow.
And then the next day, James walked by 3 men upgrading surveillance cameras at a hardware store in the East Village, and they flagged down the police officers. They were also an undocumented Mexican immigrant, a Lebanese student, and an American-born Syrian who had fled the civil war. Now, the 3 of them are in the early stages of applying for visas set aside for victims of crimes, and it's being publicized in a lot of the news right now that they are trying to get U visas. One of the women, who asked to be identified by only her last name being Flores, because she fears deportation, because she helped the police but has an order of deportation actually against her. That is why we have, New York City is a city that does not have the police every time they come into contact with an immigrant. That's why they don't call the Department of Homeland Security. They want immigrants, even if you've been ordered deported, to help capture people. Okay? That's the whole idea behind these cities saying we're not going to contact the Department of Homeland Security every time we come in contact with an immigrant to get somebody deported. We want you to report.
Yeah.
And now, of course, in the news, these cities are called sanctuary cities. And now in the news, they're saying, sanctuary cities, they're protecting people. Actually, here's a situation where a sanctuary city protected everybody else.
Right.
Because if New York City was not a sanctuary city, this guy still could be running around. It was immigrants, 2 undocumented, 1 with an order of deportation against her, who came forward to the police, felt comfortable enough to come forward to the police and said, I saw the guy, here he is. Here's my phone. You can take a picture of him. Here's a picture of him. Imagine if New York was not a sanctuary city. Imagine maybe this guy would never been captured.
Right.
Who knows?
Nobody would have stepped up.
Right, but but you don't hear about that on Fox News. Sanctuary city rule, help save New York.
Right.
Because if it wasn't a sanctuary city, people would say, I'm not going to the cops, they're going to arrest me.
Yeah.
So meanwhile, they're all applying for U visas. I hope they get it.
I do too. They deserve it.
Well, I don't know. Well, legally, I don't know if they deserve it. Oh, my thing just fell. I have a thing that just fell. Give me 1 second here. So I'm back in the loop. Talk amongst yourselves for a second. Have some tea. Early tea. There we go. Yeah, I hope they deserve it, but legally, I don't know if they're entitled to it.
Right.
Because to get a U visa, you need to be the victim of a crime.
And
they're witnesses to a crime.
How about the lady was on the train with
them,
right?
if the gunman is charged with attempted murder or attempted assault of this lady who took the video, then she is a crime victim. But if he is not charged as shooting at this lady, and all this lady did was, then that lady's not a crime victim, that lady's a witness to a crime.
Gotcha.
There is no visa for witness to crime.
Right.
There is only visa for victim of crime. So it'll be interesting to see how the police and the district attorneys charge this man, and if he is, and one of the counts is charged with committing a crime against these people. So maybe the woman in the train may have been, maybe he aimed the gun at her, maybe he shot at her, but walking down the street, the other guys who were
They were not.
They were not
actual
victims of crimes. They were just good citizens who were witnesses. Now, one of the lawyers is trying to get one of their clients what's called an S visa, which is a cooperating witness visa. But a S visa, a cooperating witness visa, is when you are charged with a crime, and then they flip you, and you say, "Okay, I'll rat out my other people."
Oh.
But that's
You
not.
could get a visa for that?
There's a visa for rats.
Right. Wow.
It's called the snitch visa.
Yeah, the S.
Yeah, that's why they call it the S visa, the snitch visa. But you're not.
But they're not being charged for.
They're not being charged with a crime.
Yeah.
And they didn't rat out
A friend.
a friend.
Right.
So unfortunately, I don't think that's gonna work out well. I read another article where another man has a pending asylum case, and he's from Lebanon, and that lawyer is going to argue now that he cooperated with the police and he goes back to Lebanon. Hezbollah is not going to like that he cooperated with the police and may be after him. I don't know. I don't know if that'll fly, but it sounds weak to me.
Yeah.
Sounds very weak to me. But the whole idea behind a sanctuary city is that we have situations where people who are undocumented, people who have orders of deportation, come to the police and help solve crimes because we all live together in a community. And if we're in cities that don't have sanctuary, that are not sanctuary, where undocumented immigrants, people with orders of deportation are scared to go to the police to help them solve crimes, to go report fires, then guys like this are still going to be walking around.
I agree.
So here's one for the good guys.
Yeah.
Okay, but you won't hear it on Fox. You'll just hear them lambast sanctuary cities. But, you know, this is exactly why you have a sanctuary city. Thanks for watching. For more Bradshaw Live, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.